What is up, everyone? Please take a second to hit that like button. The more likes that we get in a short period of time, the more people the algorithm will bring into the chat to come hang out with us and see what's going on. So please hit that like button. Let me know how you're doing, and happy freedom. All right, everyone, I'm gonna read through the chats really quick, make sure everything is running smoothly, and we'll discuss what we're gonna cover today. I'll be a little bit busy. What's up, MD? What's up, Toy? What's up, Adrian? What's up, Damon Walker? What's up, Houdini? Happy freedom, Shanti. What's up, Lefty Lucy? It's been a while, Lefty Lucy. Welcome to the live. What's up, Ghost Creeper? What's up, JB? What's up, Jamie and Deborah? What's up, Jennifer? What's up, Bubba? What's up, Lori? What's up, Robert? Happy freedom. I see you're on both YouTube channels. Appreciate you. What's up, Jay Gaming? What is up, Hooligans? What's up, Saw Dog? Make sure you guys hit that like, boost the live. What's up, Kookie? I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing? Cleaning tools at work. Well, that's always fun. We'll try and make it entertaining for you. What's up, Patrick? What's up, Stormwood? What's up, everyone on the JeffMAC Live YouTube channel? What's up, everyone on Twitch? Holy, apparently 30 people unsubscribed yesterday. Jeez, 50 subscribers down to 30 on Twitch. I don't know what's going on with Twitch. People are abandoning it or something. What's up, everyone on Odyssey? What's up, PA guy? Appreciate you being here. What's up, everyone on Rumble? Make sure you guys are hitting that like button or plus sign or whatever it looks like to you on however you're viewing it. It'll help boost the live before we get started here. What's up, Jackie? Happy freedom, Anthony. What's up, everyone on Facebook? All right, Hooligans. This is what we're going to cover today. We have a White House press briefing at 2 p.m., which is in 26 minutes. I think Kareen's going to be under a lot of pressure today. I'm trying to think last time she was on, it was either Thursday or Friday. Hopefully Peter's there. It's going to be high tension. All them top secret document conversation questions coming up, I'm sure, unless they've already scared all the reporters. We'll see how it goes. But as far as the Coffee with Hooligans, we're going to be covering flights were grounded nationwide today due to a technical error. We'll also be covering a Fox News video that's talking about the potential ties between Old Man Walter and China, which I'm wondering if those kind of questions are going to come up during the press briefing, so I think that'll be just on time. And then we'll be covering how Illinois just passed a assault weapons ban and all of that stuff. They're actually the 9th state to do it, so we're going to take a look at that and see how happy all those blue team people are, because they're all hugging each other and crying and stuff, acting like real commies. So we're going to be covering that too. What's up, Larry? What's up, Joe? Appreciate you guys being here. What's up, Nina? Happy freedom. Seen a lot of names I ain't seen in a while. What's up, big fella? Nah, not today. Not today. About 2 o'clock. About 2 o'clock we'll have it.
Hello.
Kareen's gonna walk on stage. I can't wait.
Hello there, young child.
That salad finger stuff is so good. It's so good. All right, Hooligans, we're gonna get her started. I just realized I had the wrong video pulled up. Alright, so for these videos, I'm not going to post a link in the chat because we're going to pretty much watch the whole video. It will be in the description after we are not live any longer for anyone who wants to watch it who's not here with us live. So, let's figure out where we are. Flights were grounded nationwide. This was because of notice to air mission system failure. 760 flights were affected by this error. FlightAware apparently is an online tracking system, and that's who provided this information to the reporter who's going to be talking about all of this. This video is only 2 minutes long. It's by 12 News Arizona, which I already have on the source there. Drop some ones in the chat if you hooligans got your coffee, your tea, your water, whatever you have, your snacks, and you're ready to go. Let's see those ones in the chat. Bubba, is Joe still in Mexico? I don't know. I am not sure. I'm not, as far as I can tell, there isn't any more meetings or anything coming from there, so I'm assuming he'll be on his way back shortly if he's not already back. Happy Freedom, Damon Walker. Yeah, I think the press briefing at 2 is going to be pretty entertaining. We're going to fly through this stuff as fast as we can. Normally, I try and keep things chill and whatnot, but we got to have everything wrapped up before Korean gets on stage. I have faith. I have faith. All right, I'm seeing those ones in the chat. Let's get her started.
Breaking news we're following this Wednesday when it comes to the skies. The FAA advising a nationwide ground stop. This is due to a computer issue.
And we are on the ground at Sky Harbor right now. Team 12's Jen Wall is live there. Jen, you just got there, I know, and trying to gather the latest information for people. What's happening?
Yeah, good morning to you, Scott and Emily. Like you said, we just arrived here at Sky Harbor. We are at Gate C, Terminal 4. Let's start you off with the departures board here at Terminal 4. Right now, it's still showing everything is on time. As far as all of these Southwest flights here, folks are still getting ready to line up, go through security, get on their planes. I asked a passenger if he's been told anything, and he has not yet. However, we are receiving different reports this morning from the FAA. We're being told all flights in the U.S. grounded following the incident, a source with knowledge of the situation telling NBC News. So flights across the United States affected this morning after the Federal Aviation Administration said that it's having a computer outage. The FAA saying in a notice on its website that its notice to air mission system had failed. That happening this morning. And it looks like this is essential to workers that are involved in flight operations. About 760 flights within, into, and out of the U.S. were delayed as of around 6:30 a.m. Wednesday morning. So that's obviously Eastern time there, about 3:30 a.m. our time, as it's only 4:48 here right now. That's all according to FlightAware. That's the online tracker that we watch to track flights. Around 90 flights right now listed as canceled. And we're working to get information from Phoenix Sky Harbor to see what's affected out here. So far, though, it looks like business as usual, guys. We're going to be reaching out to the airport, and we will bring you the latest breaking information as soon as we get it.
Well, as if traveling by airline isn't already enough fun, there's been lots of that stuff lately. Flight cancellations and just lots of proof that those airlines don't know what they're doing. I don't know. And I'm so dramatic about flying a plane. I say my goodbyes to everyone. I've been on a plane probably 4 or 5 times. And every time I get on, I'm like, well, I'll probably never see you again because, you know, I'll probably fall out of the sky or something. So I just want to tell you how much you mean to me. So dramatic. So dramatic. I can't even help myself. God made me this way. I don't know. It is what it is. Everyone's like rolling their eyes and stuff. They're like, all right, bye, Jeff. I'll see you in a couple days. I don't know if that's because I'm a Pisces or what. Grew up as a grandma's boy. It's something. Some sort of combination. I just don't know. All right, we're going to be showing this video from Fox News. This is about the Biden office document secret stuff, the ongoing theme from the last couple days. That instant coffee is catching up to me. This video is going to talk about how the Biden Center was announced in 2017. It opened its doors in 2018, and since then, 14.5 million doll hairs in anonymous donations from China has been donated to that Biden Center, and I don't know if they just discovered that or if that's just kind of getting brought up. Between that and the fact that when it happened to Trump, his house got raided, it was put all over the news, he was a bad guy. Old man Walter is kind of being accused of the same thing, except he wasn't president, he was vice president when this happened, and he's in Mexico drinking margaritas and having himself a good time. And so there's a lot of discrepancy there, and that's what this video talks about. So just give me a second. So this video is about 9 minutes long. Minutes long. That's more entertainment than she got last night. Calm down. Calm down. Okay, I'm just joking. Calm down. Drop some ones in the chat if you hooligans are ready. Get this video started. Hear about China Biden. Dr. No Name knows what I'm talking about. Happy Freedom Dana, thanks for being here. Just saying something, where is it? Mark, documents were found in November. Yeah, he should have been raided then. They should have raided him and put it all over the TV. Been like, ah, look at old man Walter doing bad things. I see the ones in the chat, let's get her started.
Let's bring in Kentucky Congressman James Comer, who is set to chair the House Oversight Committee, going to be looking into this issue in depth. So, Congressman, we got the president's first remarks on these documents yesterday, and he said that he was surprised to learn that they were even in his office at the Penn Biden Center. What went through your mind when you heard him say that?
Well,
I was going to say something, but I'm going to let it go.
Surprised, but the first thing that went through my mind was the fact that when this was discovered supposedly on former President Trump, Joe Biden was quick to condemn the president and call the president irresponsible for having...
Look at that creepy old man.
Unsecure location. So, you know, he didn't seem to be as outraged over his own wrongdoing as he was over the former president's. But look, as Republicans, we're just asking for equal treatment here. We're just asking that the Department of Justice...
He's just scary looking, like an elf or something.
Donald Trump. I mean, every president has a history of accidentally taking...
They're these evildoers.
May not have been classified. It's been a problem with every president, yet no other president other than Donald Trump was raided by the FBI and put through the ringer like Donald Trump.
The compliance cloth just sets me off.
Supposedly,
there's the real old man Walter. You could tell by the forehead.
To the Department of Justice.
That's old man Walter 2.0.
When Donald Trump was there, they searched his house. They searched Melania's closet. They went all through. They sent essentially a team, a SWAT team, so to speak, of FBI agents into Mar-a-Lago. They obtained the security cameras at Mar-a-Lago. They didn't do any of this with Joe Biden. So we just want to know what the difference is and, you know, why there was such a discrepancy in how the former president was treated versus the current president.
There are two main issues here. You extrapolated on the first one, which is this two-tiered system of justice. The other is the connection, apparent connection between this Penn Biden Center and China. Let's walk through the details. The University of Pennsylvania announcing the creation of the Penn Biden Center in February 2017. It opened its doors in February 2018. The university then receiving $15.8 million in anonymous Chinese gifts that year, including one in May, for a staggering $14.5 million. Will you be looking into
weird
China got for those donations as it pertains to the Biden records?
Absolutely. We already had the Biden Center on our radar.
Snooks, everyone thinks it's your birthday. Well, happy birthday, Snooks. Better you than me.
anonymous donations from China. Then
Usually I'm the one that gets it.
Anonymous art buyers, and we're pretty certain they were from.
That's a real old man Walter too.
One of the suspicious activity reports that Hunter Biden generated, there was a $1 million transfer to Hunter Biden's account.
What's up, hillbilly at heart?
In China. I mean, this is unprecedented to have anonymous donations in the $1 million range going directly to the immediate family of Joe Biden. It's almost as if there's a money trail from the Biden front door all the way to China, and it's anonymous sources. This is a problem. This is why Republicans are going to investigate the Biden family influence peddling. We're concerned that this White House is compromised because of the millions of dollars they've received from China.
Congressman, who is ultimately responsible for revealing to the American people that these documents were found in the first place? Because they were discovered about 6 days before the midterm elections, and we're only learning about them now. So would it be the Biden administration's responsibility or the DOJ?
Well, Joe Biden said he was going to be the most transparent president in history when he was a candidate, and I think we could make a strong argument that he's the least transparent president in history. The National Archives is supposed to brief the chairman and ranking member of the House Oversight Committee.
Happy Freedom WMM. What's up, wake up?
They never did that.
Do you think
so
that's
why didn't
politically
they do
motivated?
That? Well, it appears to be politically motivated. I mean, look how serious they took what Donald Trump did, and how there's just this nonchalant attitude about Joe Biden. And the media yesterday, when this story broke, they were catching me in the hall, the mainstream media, and they were saying, "Oh, but there's a big difference. He immediately reported this and turned this in, and there were only 10 documents." Well, how do we know that? That's just what they said. Listen, this administration has a long history of not.
What's up, Heath? What's up, Teresa?
With Trump, they see security cameras, so they knew who was going in and out. They went in.
Come on, hooligans, hit that like button. More likes, more hooligans. Kind of like what Kyle said.
Just took Joe Biden's lawyer's word for it. And who are those lawyers? And who is paying those lawyers? There are a million questions that we have. And for the
he's got a little draw. He was saying lawyers. I couldn't tell if he was saying loggers, lawyers, or something else. Oh.
99% of people with an IRA.
Okay, I guess I gotta watch the ad for a second here so we can watch the rest of the video. Just a moment.
Of China on what seems to be, quite frankly, bipartisan agreement. Both parties on board with the creation of a new committee examining U.S. strategic cooperation and competition with China. Here's House Speaker Kevin McCarthy on how Joe Biden has worsened our relationship with China. Listen.
It didn't start under this administration, but the current administration has clearly made it worse. Their policies has weakened our economy and made us more vulnerable. But
he kind of looks like the bad guy on Jeepers Creepers. Like the monster thing. It's kind of got the same face going on here.
There's a couple things highlighted in there. The fact that this is a bipartisan committee, but as Kevin McCarthy said, the Biden administration is not on board with what we need to.
What's up, Hollis? Appreciate you being here. What's up, Joe?
Leaders of this, but more specifically, what is this committee going to do to help America and really make sure that China is kept in check?
Well, we all know that China's been stealing our intellectual property. They've been stealing our patents. They manipulate their currency. And we've lost a lot of good-paying manufacturing jobs to China. A bipartisan issue is to bring those manufacturing jobs back to the United States. There shouldn't be any discussion over that. Yet last year, when we were in the minority, Speaker McCarthy tried to get Nancy Pelosi to go along with this China task force, and she wouldn't do it. Now we've done it. There are obviously a lot of Democrats that support this and want to be involved with this task force and this issue, but yet now the administration said, oh, it's not needed and all this. This is another example of our concern as to why we're worried that this administration may be compromised by China. I don't think the American people realize how much money from China to the Biden family accounts has been transferred over the past decade. This example from the Biden Center is the newest example, but the whole laptop issue is filled with instances.
What's up, Donna Sparks? Happy Freedom. Hollis. Yeah, it's Fox News. The source is always in the lower right corner.
Also reports that in these classified documents, some of them related to Ukraine, and then you think about Hunter Biden's business dealings in Ukraine, and could there be a possible?
We'll see if we cover Kevin McCarthy enough. I'll pull the Jeepers Creepers guy, and that'll be his mascot.
Chicago to look into these classified documents, and if anything that rose to the level of illegal occurred. He's a Trump appointee, so does that give you confidence that this will be handled fairly?
Not really. You know, the concern
Not really.
Apparently. And we're just now finding out about it. And the only reason we're finding out about it is because a reporter from CBS News somehow broke the story. So if that reporter hadn't broken that story, we wouldn't know about it. So why didn't they disclose it then on November 2nd? Obviously, it was right before the election. And remember, Joe Biden made the closing argument to the American people during the midterm elections that Republicans were a threat to democracy. And he highlighted the raid at Mar-a-Lago as one example why Republicans were a threat to democracy. So he knew the whole time that the same thing.
All right, we're going to move forward because Karine could be on stage like any minute now. It says she's got 8 minutes, but the White House just kicked over their live. So they're actually live right now. She's just not on stage. So I think we're going to move towards this assault weapon ban and run through that quickly. And then we will start the press briefing. And we're not going to end the live or anything. We'll just keep running right through it. It was like blending in for a second there. I thought it wasn't on the screen. Except for everybody looks way bigger than me and hungry. I look like I'm about to be victimized on the screen. Thank you so much, Miss Gina, for the $2 donation on YouTube. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. All right, hooligans, we're gonna read through this pretty quickly. This is an article. I am gonna post it in all of the chats. So you guys can check it out after the live or read along with me if you want. We're not going to read the whole thing. And for being ABC News, this article kind of wrote in a lower quality than I would expect. We'll put it like that. There's a 2-minute video and then a 20-minute video in this article. Like I said, Karine's supposed to be on stage any minute. The videos aren't very important, so we might be able to skim through them or cut them short if we have to. What is important is Illinois has just banned what they refer to as assault weapons. We're going to talk about it really quick, and we're going to start the video. But first, I got to give you the article link. Alright, hooligans, that link I just dropped in the chat should take you to this article on the screen. So, this article is about how the House passed an amended version of the assault weapon ban in Illinois. It bans the sale of assault weapons and high-capacity magazines along with rapid-fire devices. Illinois is the... I don't think you're supposed to pronounce the S, but I'm from Michigan, so I do what I want. They are the 9th state to outlaw the weapons that have become synonymous with mass shootings. Vague lingo there. Those who currently own these items that are being banned will be grandfathered in. They will have to report the model, caliber, and serial number of the weapon that they own by October 1st to the Illinois State Rifle Association. The ban will impact nearly 2.5 million Illinois gun owners, and they plan to fight in court. Crazy sauce. Crazy sauce. So I'm trying to find where it says. I'm pretty sure it actually stipulates. It's something like rifles can't have more than 10 rounds, pistols can't have more than 15 or something like that was the amended version of the bill. But we're going to watch this video really quick. And like I said, this first one is 2 minutes long, and I believe this is right after the bill was signed, I believe. Let me see if I can make a full screen.
And Cheryl, opponents of the law say it unfairly penalizes many of the 2.4 million legal gun owners in Illinois. But supporters say the law is overdue and will start to reverse decades of escalating gun violence.
Yeah, cool guy. This is totally an infringement on our rights. This is an infringement on the 2A all day.
Lives, and it won't just be one life.
You're not saving lives, dude.
Or potentially thousands of lives.
Earlier hugs and tears in the Illinois House chamber following the General Assembly's passage of the bill.
The people of the great state of Illinois have been waiting decades for legislation just like this.
I'm so grateful to each and every one of our lawmakers who heard us and who took action and didn't give thoughts and prayers.
With the governor's signature, the law takes effect immediately, banning the sale, delivery, and purchase of dozens of assault-style weapons. Such firearms currently...
Assault-style weapons, which is all weapons.
Long gun magazines
Stupid.
10 rounds, and for handguns, 15 rounds.
The job's not done. You know, we can't just dust off our hands as if this is it. You know, this is the final bill.
There's a communist.
Opponents of the law say it does nothing to prevent mass shootings or lessen crime, and will fight it in courts.
This is a huge overreach. It really chokes people's Second Amendment rights.
All it's going to do is give the courts an excuse to strike down yet another piece of gun legislation.
Some Illinois Republicans have said they will defy the ban, but tonight the governor said the law will be enforced like any other statute.
No, Julie isn't.
Bunch of nonsense from a bunch of commies. Hold on a second. I accidentally backed out of the link. So this second video is fairly similar. It's actual footage of him signing it and people crying and being so happy that they just disarm themselves so they can all take turns being victims. It's so stupid. My goodness, it's so stupid. It drives me nuts. When I obtained this information, which thank you so much, Serum, for sending this to me. I feel bad for him because he lives there. And all of these links today were provided by Snooks, Edward, and Serum. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for making Coffee with Hooligans run smoothly. But when this was brought to my attention, I was on the phone when I had received the articles. And I was like, oh, and I kind of read out loud, oh, I just got these articles that are talking about a gun ban in Chicago and in Illinois and stuff. And who I was talking to on the phone was like, well, wouldn't you think that'd be a good thing because they have so much gun violence there? That's not, it's not happening by people who legally own guns. So having a gun ban only affects people who legally own guns. 2, the only thing that beats a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. If they keep teaching all the good guys when they're kids to be scared of guns and that guns are bad and that your Second Amendment needs to be forfeited and stuff like that, by the time they're old enough to be men and bear arms, they're going to be afraid of them. They're not going to want to have one. They're not going to want to own one. And what's happening is we are running out of good guys with guns because of this crap right here. They should teach gun safety in school. They should teach hunter safety in school. They should have an officer come in and break down a firearm in front of you and let you know it's not a big scary thing. It's a tool, like a hammer or a screwdriver is part of your rights. That should be one of the first. You should be born and here's a Glock. Like, it should be just like that. Like, it's your right. It is your right. And people are scared of guns, and that's like being afraid of free speech. And a lot of people are. You see them wearing compliance cloths and talking about, oh, don't go and cast your opinion on who should speak for us in office. You know, that's your right. You should love it. You should cherish it. You should know it forwards and backwards, inside and out. You should teach it to your kids because it's going to be their right as long as we don't forfeit it. And because of this kind of nonsense and people on TV like that young person that we just saw in the video saying, oh, we just made the community a safer place. No, you didn't. You just weakened everyone. If the bad guy with the gun shows up, where's the good guys with guns? Oh, well, you just penalized them. You just made them all sign up on a list and all this other stuff. It's not good. It is not good. That is false enthusiasm that young person was displaying, and he's probably brainwashed. He probably doesn't even realize that what just happened is a bad thing and not a good thing. I mean, that's just my opinion. I'm sure there's probably a couple hooligans, maybe in the nation that agree with me. We're gonna watch the second video. Like I said, it's gonna be a big pity party, crying and hugging and whatnot. And we're gonna pretty much watch this until Karine steps on stage. She's already 2 minutes late. I got it pulled up, so when she steps on stage, we're just gonna abruptly switch over, so prepare for that.
A little over 6 months ago, a peaceful 4th of July for families all across the state was shattered in the wake of the massacre in Highland Park.
I'm not able to make it full screen. Their website's janky.
A 2-year-old child was left parentless. 36 people were injured, all because our state and our nation has been held hostage by the NRA and their allies time and time again. After nearly every mass shooting, we've seen efforts to ban dangerous weapons thwarted, and then leaders send their thoughts and prayers while they throw their hands up, resigning themselves to the idea that gun violence is a sacrifice that Americans must accept. But it doesn't have to be that way. For the past few years, members of the General Assembly and I have battled the powerful forces of the pro-gun lobby to pass effective gun safety legislation. We've had occasional victories, but on assault weapons and high-capacity magazines, victory has been elusive. That's why today I couldn't be prouder to say that we got it done. Illinois now officially prohibits the sale and distribution of these mass killing machines and rapid-fire devices. I'm signing this legislation tonight so that it can take immediate effect and we can end the sale of these weapons of war as soon as possible. This law does not ask current lawful owners of these assault weapons to give up their lawfully acquired guns, but it does require an accounting for the weapons currently in circulation, so we know who.
You remember what I said yesterday? That they always come up with problems that doesn't matter to us. These problems don't matter to us. It's the solution to the problems that affect all of us, and that's what this is right here. This is a solution to a problem that they over-glorify. And now this solution is going to affect all of us, and it's an infringement on our rights, and these people are communists. It needs all the spotlight on this.
And wound 7 others in the McDonald's shooting in Chicago. The Chicago Police Department recovered nearly 500 of these weapons between 2018 and 2021.
Can killers so proud of their treason, right?
Cases involving machine gun style weapons during that time. But as of today in Illinois, these switches are illegal. Anyone caught with one will be held accountable to the fullest extent of the law. It has been a hard-fought battle, but we got this done for Highland Park's Kevin and Irina McCarthy, Jackie Sundheim, Catherine Goldstein, Eduardo Uvaldo, Nicholas Toledo Zaragoza, and Stephen Strauss. For Benito Juarez High School's Brandon Perez and Nathan Villegas, 2 friends just 15 and 14 years old, whose bright futures were cut short just last month. We got this done for all the victims, the spouses.
Remember, 1/5 of our country has these laws now.
And for those who have survived mass shootings but were injured. Today, we honor them their trauma and their loss by preventing others from becoming victims. This critical legislation would not have been possible without the steadfast leadership of House Speaker Chris Welch and Senate President Don Harmon. And I also want to recognize their members, Representative Bob Morgan, Representative, yeah. You're going to have to do that 5 times. Representative LaShawn Ford. Representative Maura Hirschauer. Senator Jackie Collins. And Senator Julie Morrison, all of whom have been champions. I also want to thank the hundreds of activists for gun safety, many of whom came on their own.
Commies. Just say commies so we know who you're talking about. Hillbilly at heart. Doesn't Illinois have like the strictest gun laws already and still have people killing all over the place? Yeah, they have the strictest laws about everything. Even like marijuana laws are crazy. They try to put people in prison over weed. Silly. It's not working. Passing laws only works for people who follow the law, but you know, they know that. They know that. Criminals are the only ones that have freedom. That's what's so enticing. That's why they become criminals, because they're living outside of the structure. But then when they get caught, they pay hard, and everyone who participates in the structure laughs at them and doesn't see life from their point of view. I've been on all kinds of sides of the fence. I've seen the fence built, so I know what it's like to be in a lot of different people's shoes. But that's why everybody is just chasing happiness in their own way.
In a better and safer world. And with that, it is my great pleasure to introduce once again one of the champions of this legislation, Speaker Chris Welch.
A room of commies.
Well, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
It truly is an honor.
I'm keeping an eye on this press briefing live. Kareen's still not on stage, and she's 9 minutes late now.
Senate President, colleagues in the House and Senate, and all of these amazing advocates here tonight. You know, I've been coming to this building for 10 years now, and I got to tell you, I've heard for a long time, when we organize, we win. When we organize, we win. And for many years, the NRA out-organized us, outspent us, allowed these weapons of mass destruction that belong on battlefields to...
Weapons of mass destruction. Are you kidding me? They used to sell these at Walmart. He's got a bruise right here. Ear biting all day. My goodness. Oh my goodness. Weapons of mass destruction. It's so tight right now.
Because of the NRA and their grip on politicians all over this country. But volunteers.
I want to see him cry.
Demanded action. Every town, everywhere.
Cry. Tell us how scared you are. Tell us.
Said we want to protect our communities.
You did the opposite.
You know, and they didn't settle for anything less. And so we got it done because we organized. We organized and we won. And the people of the great state of Illinois.
We need to ban soft targets, not make new ones.
The Illinois Protect Communities Act for a reason. We do believe it's going to make a significant impact in reducing these weapons on the street. And if it saves just one life,
it's not going to. You blew it.
It was successful.
Prostitute.
But we believe it's going to save many more than that. And so I honestly believe that this is a day that we should all be proud of, because this is why you've elected leaders to come to Springfield and make the types of decisions that we made. This is why many of the leaders signed up to come here and do this job. I know it because I know the legislators who put in the work.
Come on, man.
I know why Bob Morgan is here. I know why Maura Hirschauer is here. I know why LaShawn Ford and Kathy Willis and Denise Wang Stoneback and all of the common sense gun advocates in the House.
This dude standing on the left of the guy speaking is giving Griner a run for its money.
I
thought it was Obama at first. I thought it was Michael.
I certainly didn't know that my mom would be here for the passage of this historic legislation.
Your mom watched you be a commie? I bet your mom's a commie. Can I say that? Your mom's a commie.
Amazing, awesome honor.
What are you gonna do about it?
To witness the great work that we get to do for the people of Illinois. You know, our family was changed by gun violence.
And hormone blockers.
We made it by the grace of God and by leaning on faith. And we put in the work to just help one family. We did that. I'm so doggone proud of everyone. Thank you, advocates, for what you did. This is just one victory. I'm sure there's many more to come. But today, we celebrate because we won.
Robert, yeah, he's got the commie mommy.
It is truly my honor to introduce to you my partner, my friend, the Senate President.
What's up, Faded? I don't know what it's like to hate freedom. Only these special individuals do.
Good evening, all.
Prostitute.
I suggested to the governor earlier this evening that we have this signing ceremony in the rotunda. It was a request that had come to me from an advocate and a Highland Park survivor who's been here for the last few days. But it made immediate sense to me because it's been here in this rotunda that we have had so many rallies over the years for common sense gun laws.
Ted, okay. No guns for their bodyguards. Yeah, exactly. That's how it should be.
Gun violence survivors themselves. We have wonderful partners all over the country, but I am especially grateful to our hometown partner, JPAC, a longtime advocate in this space, the newest and most potent addition to our cause, Protect Illinois Communities, and of course, to the ever-present Moms Demand Action. We would not be here without all of you.
Thank you so much, Mark, for the $2 donation on Rumble. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. I'm not sure why people don't watch on Rumble. It's from what I can tell, it's better now. It's more comparable to a friendly user experience like YouTube. People should try Rumble now that the changes happened.
Who's carried difficult gun bills in the past, and Senator Julie Morrison, Highland Park Senator, who has carried difficult bills at great personal peril. I salute all of you and thank you for your work.
Prostitute.
See, I don't think he's fooled. I think he knows what's going on. He's probably the agenda pusher. You see, he's not up in arms and like telling stories of how this is going to be a great thing. He's just direct words on paper, like Karine.
Protect people from it, and sometimes it feels like we haven't even made a dent. But today, with this new law, we begin the pushback against weapons whose only intent is to obliterate other human beings. On July 4th, it was a stark...
Is that what they do? They just obliterate other human beings? I'm pretty sure I've never heard a breaking news assault weapon was used to obliterate human beings today. Pretty sure I've never heard that.
Instead, 7 people lost their lives and dozens were injured, and more psychologically so, as someone unleashed weapons of war on the Highland Park 4th of July parade. The proliferation and ready access to these high-powered weapons that have an original basis in military and combat have no place in common commerce and on our streets. They contribute to the everyday violence that is unfortunately becoming commonplace. A week does not go by without a shooting in the district I represent, and I know my colleagues can say the same. In fact, I often say, Every weekend, there are mass shooting casualties in and around the district I represent. But we don't.
Pesky. 9mm will blow your lungs out of your body. All right.
Because they happen at different times to different people on different corners with different guns. But
We shouldn't have scared people making laws, pushing for laws to be changed or anything like that.
But it's an additional tool to curb the
People who think that the Constitution needs to be changed should not be in office.
so many of us are waging to make our state truly secure and safe. This law sends the message that we have not grown numb to the horror and that the cries for action after East mass shooting will not go.
But did they do an assault hammer ban? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Sends the message that reason and common sense can prevail. It's my privilege to introduce a great champion on the issue, Governor Pritzker's partner, our Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton.
It's like, what up?
Thank you. Hello, everyone. I am Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton, and I use she, her pronouns. Thank you, President Harmon, for that warm introduction. I would also like to commend you, Speaker Williams,
What did it say?
of the General Assembly, for your courage, compassionate leadership, and collaboration that led to the passage of this historic legislation that will save lives. And can we pause for a moment just to acknowledge our great governor, Governor J.B. Pritzker.
Yes, clap into the microphone as if you don't understand how microphones work.
All Illinoisans safe. You dug in and inspired active change that now protects communities in every zip code. And as someone coming from a family directly impacted by gun violence, for this we are grateful.
That gun violence impacted that person so hard, they put a dress on.
For standing up and fighting for all communities to have the right to live, work, and be safe.
And LARP as who they wish to be.
That living free from gun violence makes everything else possible. To educate our children, we need them to be safe. To attract new businesses and expand economic opportunity in our communities, we need those communities to be safe. To be our best selves, both physically and mentally.
Miss Jamie, do you know why I can't chat on Rumble anymore unless I pay for a super chat? It has a $sign where the arrow used to be to post a chat comment. $sign doesn't give an arrow option. There's no arrow anymore. You have to hit enter. That's the only way to send. I do it all the time. I try to text the chat and I accidentally click the money bag thing and then it wants me to make a donation. But yeah, there's no send button. You have to hit enter to send. You don't have to pay to chat. And I don't have any control over the chat on Rumble, so I can't change settings because I don't have any.
In the Pilsen neighborhood in Chicago, who are mourning after last month's mass shooting. They deserve action. We stand here for the people of Highland Park who deserve our support and our voices as they continue the long road of healing after the immense grief that they experienced during.
Saw dog, these people should have to put a sign in the front yard saying they don't believe in the Second Amendment in this house and then let us know how it goes. Yeah, exactly.
Too many mass shootings to count. Too many lives lost.
They are only disarming good guys with guns with this nonsense. That's all they're doing. They are eliminating good guys with guns. And that's the whole point of this. That's how all of this stuff is. You watch the bad guys pretend to be the good guys and commit crimes so the good guys actually go down. We see the fire starting all the time. This is like the ceiling to that. Eventually, we'll be a lawless society. And if people don't learn some of these tricks of the trade, there ain't gonna be good guys with guns anymore.
Only drives us to continue focusing on the comprehensive steps we can take to ensure
What's up, Cheeky Chops?
healthy, safe, and well. And with that, I am thrilled.
Kareen is still not on stage. 21 minutes late.
To the lectern, or to the table, really, to sign this bill into law.
Prostitute.
Mama.
Look at these commies. Just dripping and oozing all over the place. Can't even contain themselves. Crying. Makes me want to cry. Not for the same reasons though, I'm sure. Like, you don't want anything bad to happen, but if somebody was to walk in and attack them right now, there'd be no good guys with a gun there. The sad thing is they're not going to learn how wrong they are about all of this. And if they do, it'll be the last thing they ever do. That's the problem with this. The idea of regret doesn't happen. It doesn't go on beyond the attack. You get attacked by a bad guy with a gun. You're not here usually afterwards to go, you know what, that was a really dumb idea. We need more good guys with guns. Stupid. I don't know. Process of elimination. What do they call it? Natural selection. Just our version of the purge should be like one whole day without warning labels, just to thin the herd out a little bit. Yeah, exactly, cheeky chaps.
So very great. We're going to be checking in with a lot of people.
I'm telling you, their website is so janky. There was no other videos on there, and they're just going to play audio from God knows where. Either way, Karine is still not on stage. Alright. I'll do my spiel about the link tree. But we're going to call it the website because we're not going to the link tree anymore. We're promoting the website now. Go to jeffmaclive.com. Has everything you need right there on the homepage. I wish that could be it, but I have to actually explain it. We're going to do the spiel, the Pledge of Allegiance, Google You Watch Your Mouth, How You Talk to Me. And if Karine's still not on stage, we'll end the live, and then I'll just sit here for the rest of the day and wait for her to get on stage, and then we'll go live. So that's the decision as of right now. So I want everyone to please find the jeffmaclive.com link. On there you can find the link for Gilded. Gilded is free. It's the best way to be notified every single time we go live. No matter where we go live, you will also receive notifications for important updates, anything breaking. You will get notifications for it. There's also a news board that is constantly up to date, so you can stay up to date with everything going on around the world. There's tons and tons of hooligans to hang out with all day, every day. So definitely join Gilded. Like I said, it's free. Just get the app, click the link, you'll be good to go. Also, on the homepage of the website, you can find the merch store link if you would like to get some merch. We have shirts, hoodies, stickers. Everything you see is presented in black or white and black. But if you click on the item that you're interested in, you can see it comes in many different colors for you to choose from. You can also find links to send donations if you would like to support what I do. There's an Amazon wish list if you would like to send me stuff. I try to update it fairly often. I've put coffee mugs up there so we can show off coffee mugs during Coffee with Hooligans and stuff. It's really simple. Anything you buy off the wish list will automatically be sent to me. You don't have to worry about retrieving information or anything like that. And then finally, there's links on the homepage of the website if you would like to join the membership program on any platform, anywhere where we go live except for Facebook, because they're not giving me that feature. Also the community, so if you'd like to join the membership program for Gilded or Discord, anything like that, those links can be found on the homepage of the website on jeffmaclive.com. All right, hooligans, let's get ready for the pledge. Psych, we're not gonna do the pledge. Karine's gonna walk on stage. We're gonna watch that, then we're gonna do the pledge. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha, I tricked you.
A rarity these days, we never. It would not be
Hey. All right, good afternoon, everyone. Happy Monday.
Hello there, young child.
Wednesday. See? That is how my week is going. Whatever Monday you want is yours. Okay, so again, good afternoon, everyone. Please bear with me. There's been a lot of news, so I have a few things at the top. So with respect to the FAA system outage that occurred early this morning,
Hit that like button, share this out, boost the live.
Department of Transportation and the FAA. DOT and FAA report that yesterday they were working through issues in the NOTAM system, which is used to communicate key safety information about runways and flight patterns with pilots. To be clear, we're not talking about air traffic control here, but we still consider this to be a vital safety system as well. So FAA staff continued to work through the night to resolve the outage and issued a ground stop at 7:25 a.m. this morning, which lasted for approximately 90 minutes. FAA lifted the ground stop once the NOTAM system was available again, which means that the critical safety information required to resume travel was indeed available. The president was briefed this morning by Secretary Buttigieg before departing for Walter Reed with the First Lady, as you heard directly from the president on the South Lawn this morning for yourselves. As we shared this morning as well, we do not have evidence that this outage was caused by a cyber attack. The FAA is working aggressively to get to the bottom of the root causes for the system outage so that it does not happen again.
What'd she do? Watch my live before hopping on stage there?
The Department of Education proposed what would be the most affordable student loan repayment plan in history. The new plan, if implemented, will cut monthly loan payments in half for undergrad borrowers. It will mean borrowers making less than about $30,000 per year will not have to pay a dime on their student loans each month, and it will reduce the time it takes for low balance borrowers to get their student loan debt forgiven. The proposal delivers on the plan President Biden announced in August to provide millions of borrowers with more affordable monthly student loan payments, giving them additional breathing room to start a family by
All that breathing room. We love it. Thanks so much. Enter username for that $5 donation on YouTube. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Korean solar manufacturer announced it will invest more than $2.5 billion to expand their plant in Dalton, Georgia, and to build a new plant northwest of Atlanta. This investment will create 2,500 jobs in Georgia and represent the single largest investment in solar manufacturing in the United States. In its announcement, Q-Cells emphasized that Inflation Reduction Act was critical to making this investment possible. This builds on the more than $25 billion in major investments in Georgia in electric vehicle and battery manufacturing, solar manufacturing, construction materials, and more since the president took office. When the president talks about building our economy from the bottom up and middle out, this is exactly what he is delivering: more investment, more jobs, more manufacturing in America. In gun safety news, Illinois has now become the 9th state across America to
Let the White House know I'm the real press secretary.
keep weapons.
We covered all this today.
President Biden commends the leadership of Illinois' Governor J.P. Pritzker, House Speaker Chris Welk, Senate President Don Harmon, Representative Bob Morgan, and the numerous advocates, survivors, and elected officials whose tireless efforts turned the pain of Highland Park and other acts of violence into meaningful action on behalf of all of the people who live in Illinois. As you've heard from me before, President Biden has taken historic action to reduce gun violence, including signing the Bipartisan Safety Communities Act last summer, and he has continued to press for more action to keep our homes, schools, and communities safe, including federal laws requiring background checks for all gun sales and a ban on assault weapons and high-capacity.
Assault weapons. I don't have any made out of salt, so I think I'll be okay.
California, New Jersey, Connecticut, Hawaii, Maryland, Massachusetts, New York, Delaware, Washington, D.C., and now Illinois.
Oh, all the places that are always burning down except for Hawaii? Oh, okay. Well, we'll just stay out of those states. Commie trash.
We congratulate Aaron Rouse for his win in Virginia's 7th District, a district previously held by a Republican. He made his campaign clear about the choice Americans across the country have between extreme MAGA Republican policies that would take away women's ability to make their own health care decisions, and Democrats focused on expanding access to reproductive care and lowering costs for American families. It's not just in Virginia. This was, of course, a critical issue in the midterms elections, as many of you reported. And in their first slate of bills, House Republicans are prioritizing legislation that would amount to a national ban on abortion. It's not just tone deaf. As Republican Congresswoman Nancy Mace said herself, it's extreme, out of touch with the beliefs of the majority of Americans around the country. The president knows that women's ability to make their own health care decision is non-negotiable, and we will continue to fight to make that case at the state and federal level. And one final note, on Friday, ahead of the president's trip to Atlanta this weekend, we will have a special guest in the briefing room. We'll have a senior advisor for public engagement, Keisha Lance Bottoms, will be joining us, will be joining me to talk about some of her work, as well as preview the significance of the president's remarks at Ebenezer Church on what would have been Martin Luther King Jr.'s 94th birthday. With all of that said, you guys can start waking up now. Zeke, why don't you take us away?
Thanks, Karine. I was hoping you could provide an update on what the president has been doing at Walter Reed while the First Lady's been undergoing this procedure. We saw the First Lady's office put out a brief statement.
Look at Peter, waiting to make his move.
He was up there.
So I'll say this and be very simple. Today is about his wife. That is the focus for the president right now. As many of you know, the president accompanied the First Lady to Walter Reed National Medical Center for her scheduled outpatient procedure, commonly known as Mau's surgery. The First Lady's procedure is proceeding well, and as expected, Dr. O'Connor will provide an update about her today. But again, this is about the president.
I'm gonna grab some more coffee. I'll be right back.
45.
Don't be burning my Chad down.
Again, when it comes to her condition specifically, Dr. O'Connor will have more to share. But again, I'm not going to go beyond how important it is for the president to be there with his wife today.
Thanks. And then a couple specific questions regarding the discovery of apparently documents marked classified in the president's former office. The president acknowledged yesterday that he had been briefed that those documents had been found. When was he briefed that those documents had been found?
So let me just lay this down a little bit, because there's just for folks who happen to not be following this. Look, the president addressed this issue yesterday. He addressed it on in Mexico City on a world stage in front of many of you at a press conference with two of our closest neighbors, as you all know, and he said he takes classified documents and information seriously. He was surprised to learn any records had been found there. He doesn't know what was in them. He said this, just repeating what the president has said. As soon as his lawyers realized these documents were there, they did the right thing and immediately turned them over to the archives. As he said, his team is cooperating fully with the review, and we also released a statement from the White House counsel's office, as you know, on Monday, which had information, detailed information about the particular situation. As my colleagues in the council have stated and said to all of you yesterday, this is an ongoing process under the review of the Department of Justice, so we are going to be limited on what we can say here. But as the president told you, as my colleagues have said to many of you, we are committed to doing the right thing, doing this in the right way, and we will provide further details when it's appropriate.
You mentioned you want to do this the right way. Presumably that means the transparent way. So my question was, when was the president briefed? He said he was briefed. When did that briefing happen? Again,
I'm not going to get into details. I'm not going to get beyond what the president shared yesterday. He laid out what he knew when he knew it. He laid out how important it is. He sees it very seriously when it comes to taking classified documents and information. I'm just not going to, I know you all are going to have a lot of questions on this, but at this time, I'm not going to go beyond what the President said yesterday. I'm not going to go beyond what my colleagues from the White House Counsel shared with many of you as well on Monday. And so I'm just going to leave it there, want to be prudent here and make sure that it is that my colleagues really truly handle this issue.
One more stab at this, because again, this is a lot of importance to people. The President mentioned the handling of classified information is important. These documents were discovered on November 2nd. This didn't become public until my colleagues at CBS News reported this on Monday. That's more than 2 months later. Why was the public not informed while the White House prepared its PR response for 2 months?
Again, this was under review. This is under review by the Department of Justice. I'm not going to go beyond what the President shared yesterday. I'm not going to go beyond what my colleagues at the White House Counsel shared with all of you as well. Look,
the President didn't share a whole lot of nothing yesterday.
Had complete details, a lot of details.
And as far as I know, Trump didn't go live.
And just not going to get beyond that. It is, again, an ongoing process. We're going to respect the process. As the President said, his team handled it the right way, and we're just not going to get ahead of the process from here.
Thanks, Grant. Have you spoken to the President about these documents and their discovery?
I have not spoken. Well, first of all, I have not spoken to the President about any of this specifically because he's laid out what he knows. He has said he doesn't know what is in them, so there's no way for me to talk about the documents if he has said he doesn't know what's in them. And we're just going to allow the process to continue.
So for the sake of the American public who want these questions asked and answered, would the President characterize what happened here as a mistake? Would this White House characterize this as a mistake?
What I'll say is this is an ongoing process. You heard from the President. He spoke about this in detail yesterday in front of, on a world stage, in front of many of you who were there, in front of many of your colleagues. He laid out what he knew. He said that he seriously, he takes this seriously when it comes to classified documents, when it comes to information that is classified. He was surprised to learn about.
Come on, hooligans, let's get those likes up to 200.
Again, he believes that that the lawyers did the right thing, and they immediately turned them over to the archives.
And the President's saying that he was surprised to learn about these documents. Is he saying that he did not bring those documents to that office?
I'm just not going to go beyond what the President said.
Do we know who did bring those documents to the
I'm not
office?
going to go beyond what the President
But you're
said.
saying you want to be transparent and do things the right way. We're
Yes,
not going to get any more answers.
and his team of lawyers did do that. They did the right thing by turning over the documents to the archives. That's what they did once they realized that they had them, that they were there.
Blink, blink.
How the documents got from the White House to this
I'm-
office?
Steve, I appreciate the question. It's under review. I'm going to let the DOJ do their process. I'm just not going to get ahead of it.
What do you mean you're not going to make a whole bunch of speculation like you did when the MAGA King had this going on?
Now, that is what I said. We do not, this has not been viewed as there's no evidence of a cyber attack at this point. The President has directed Department of Transportation to conduct a full investigation into the causes and provide regular updates. Again, this is incredibly important, a top priority, the safety of Americans who are flying every day. We want to make sure that they're safe. This is a top priority for the President, a top priority for the Department of Transportation, and certainly FAA. And so we want to make sure that we get to the root causes so this does not happen again.
Lastly, on the First Lady, when was this lesion discovered?
I'm not going to get ahead of what Dr. O'Connor is going to share later today.
Try to boost the volume a little bit.
The procedure is going well. I'm just going to leave it there and let her doctors speak to it.
On the documents case, again, you've laid out that the President's lawyers and the special counsel are dealing with the legal side of this. You've now laid out that you have not had a conversation with the President about this. But this was reported Monday. It happened in November. Are you aware of any conversation in the West Wing among others, people other than the President, about disclosing this once it was discovered?
What I can say is I was asked by your colleague if we talked about the documents themselves. the president said he does not know what was in them, right? But also just wanted to clear that up. Look, I understand you guys are going to have a lot of questions on this. I get that. I know you guys are going to have a lot of questions on process and specifics. And what I can tell you is that I'm not going to go beyond what the president laid out. I'm not going to go beyond what my White House counsel colleagues have stated. I would refer you to them for any other specifics or additional information. I want to be prudent here. I want to make sure that we do this in the appropriate way.
We're going to ask them because that's our job.
I understand, and my job is to answer your questions. So here we go. Let's go.
We asked this is because on like day 2 of this administration, when he swore all of you in, the president said, quote, "I'm going to make mistakes. When I make them, I'll acknowledge them, and I'll tell you, and I'll need your help to help me correct them." So you're the one here talking to us about this. That's why we're asking you. So let's just remember that. When he was asked yesterday,
Ed, we don't need to have this. We work very well together. We don't need to have this kind of confrontation.
What do you mean? You don't want to be called out? Is that what it is? Don't ask real questions? Don't be a real journalist? Is that what you're saying? You want special treatment, you sissy?
You don't need to be contentious with me here, Ed.
the president was asked yesterday but did not answer this part of the question. Why didn't he or someone in the White House inform the American people when these documents were discovered on November 2nd? Did it have anything to do, because people are asking this part of it, did it have anything to do with the fact that the election was just a few days away?
Again, Ed, this is under review by the Department of Justice. It is literally under review right now. As I am talking to you, it is under review. So I'm not going to get beyond the process. I'm not going to get beyond what the president said. Look, the White House counsel, my colleagues in the White House counsel, laid out a very detailed information about what this particular issue on Monday. You all have that. I'm just not going to get beyond that. The Department of Justice is independent, as you know. They're doing a review, and I want to be prudent here. And it would be more appropriate. It would be more appropriate for my colleagues in the White House counsel's office to address this.
Then we walk into the briefing room, and we hope they can come soon to discuss this. But there's another thing. There was nothing stopping the President of the United States from disclosing the discovery of these classified documents in his former office before it was under Justice Department review.
What I can tell you right now is what the president is share with you what the president said to all of you, right? Which is he was surprised by this. He definitely, truly respects the process here, and also when it comes to classified, he takes classified documents very seriously. And again, I'm going to leave you to the information that the president provided to all of you, and also just yesterday, in front of many of you or your colleagues, and also what my White House counsel colleagues shared on Monday.
The leaders of the Senate Intelligence Committee today, like they did after the raid at Mar-a-Lago, have asked that the Director of National Intelligence conduct a national security assessment of this apparent discovery of classified information. Has the president asked for one? Or are you aware of the ODNI?
I would refer you to Department of Justice here. This is, again, this is...
Department of Justice doesn't handle national security.
I would refer you to Department of Justice on this particular issue that's being reviewed currently.
On whether the Office of Director...
That's all she's going to say now. She's locked down.
To the review that we are currently speaking of right now, of these classified documents, I would refer you to Department of Justice. Go ahead.
Apart from those classified documents, the president did say that he was unaware of records being brought to that specific office. So aside from those, has he asked his lawyers, has he looked into whether any other documents have been taken to any other office that he has, whether in Wilmington or Rehoboth? Has there been any kind of like audit that's been done of where there may be others that he doesn't know about?
I'm just not going to speak to this. I'm going to let the process continue. It's an ongoing process, and so I'm just not going to speak to this from here. It is more prudent and more appropriate for my colleagues at the White House Counsel.
On another note, you were touting the Q-Cells announcement and the Inflation Reduction Act. I just want to ask, though, Governor Kemp in Georgia is also, touting the deal and taking credit for it. Did the administration work with the Republican governor to get this project off the ground? How much help was he in this process?
I don't have any specifics to share on our conversations with the governor. Georgia, but what I can share with you is what we have said many times is how important the Inflation Reduction Act is here. And we see this. We see this in many of the announcements that we've seen across the clearly across the country when it comes to making sure that we're lowering costs for Americans, making sure that we're bringing manufacturing jobs back home, and this is part of more broadly the president's economic policy. And so we see this a lot. We see where Republicans do not support some of the major critical policies like the Inflation Reduction Act, but then take credit for it, like the American Rescue Plan, but then take credit for it.
Oh, that's dusty of her to say. After she stands on stage and lays claim over stuff the MAGA King has done that's still in place, and then she talks about, how all the good things they've done. Or when Old Man Walter shows up and makes an executive order and then ruins the economy, and then anytime he boosts the economy at all, he wants a full-blown parade and a pat on the back. Look at the great things he's done. What a bold statement, KJP. Goodness, bruised rib cage up front, I'm sure.
To have worked, which has shown to actually create more than 10 million jobs, which have actually helped to lower.
Bob, I love propaganda.
Reduction Act. That. So all of these things are incredibly important. And I'm just laying out to you that the president's economic policy is working. Go ahead.
Corinne, when you were talking about the FAA, you said that the issue arose as they were working through some issues, and so I was wondering if you could explain a little more if basically the FAA was trying to update the system, or was there a server issue, a database issue, if you have any more detail on how exactly, prior to the full investigation, this seems to have happened.
So I would refer you to the Department of Transportation. Secretary Buttigieg has been on many of your colleagues' airwaves speaking about this and what.
I don't know who that secretary is, but their name keeps getting brought up.
Determine exactly the root causes and recommend the next steps. FAA and DOT.
The Buttigieg.
Transparent here about the causes of the issue and how we will ensure a system outage of this magnitude does not happen again. So what I said earlier, which is
Klaus Daniels is missing the news.
Sure that the safety of Americans who are flying, right? We want to make sure that they're safe. And the second part of this is to make sure that this does not happen again. And so again, there's going to be an after action process and we'll move from there.
Can I ask about this gas stove thing that kind of bubbled up yesterday? Does the White House think gas stoves are safe? And I know that the Consumer Product Safety Commission said today that they're not looking to ban gas stoves, but I'm wondering, was there communication between the White House?
So as far as the safety piece of it, it's not something for us to answer from here. I would refer you to the Consumer Product Safety Commission. As the chair said today, and I quote, research indicates that emissions from gas stoves can be hazardous, and the CPSC is looking for ways to reduce related indoor air.
It's like they spent the last 2 days watching Coffee with Hooligans. Like, we covered all this stuff way better than they are.
Has no proceedings to do so. Look, as far as our conversation to your question, we are in regular touch with them. But of course, they are an independent. They were independently correcting the record on this for several days now, and so.
Jeb, the scary Assult stove. It's gonna get me. Edward let me know that they're going after gas heaters too. I'll have to find some articles on it.
They've installed a Kremlin loyalist there. I'm wondering if you have a reaction to this and what you think it says about sort of the state of the conflict.
So look, I'm going to let the Kremlin speak to their leadership decision. But as an outside observer, as we all are here, they sure have a lot of changes. They made a lot of changes as they
blink, 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 blink.
In a war that they shouldn't happen in the first place. So again, I'm not going to comment for them. I'll certainly let the Kremlin speak for themselves. But again, this is a war that they started. This is a war that they created, a brutal war, and they can end it today if they choose to do so.
Thank you, Karim. I have two questions for you. Last week, President Biden said that the war in Ukraine is at a critical point, and then you repeated the statement from this podium. So I'm wondering.
Yeah, that'd be fine, Guardian.
And why the White House thinks that the war in Ukraine is the critical point right now. And secondly, Poland announced today plans to send a company of Leopard tanks to Ukraine as a part of international coalition. Does the U.S. support such a coalition, and is President Biden considering sending American Abrams tanks to Ukraine to help, especially if he thinks that the war is at a critical point?
So I'll say this. Look, Russia has been attacking Ukraine for 10 months now, 10 months. And this winter, we're seeing a new approach by Putin targeting civilians. You've heard the president talk about that specifically. It is unspeakable what the Ukrainian people are enduring, and they are bravely fighting back. I'll say this to your
Happy Freedom, Joe.
question. The president has made clear to President Zelensky, as you know, he was here very recently. You saw them stand side by side, and you heard the president talk about the commitment that he has for the Ukrainian people, and that the U.S. will continue to have their back, stand with Ukraine as long as it takes. And we've been very clear and consistent on that. We are moving fast and delivering to support Ukraine.
Robert, gas stoves are evil. Those racist gas stoves. We're going to have to ban those.
The largest one just last week. And so that is going to continue.
Thank you so much, Kimberly, for the $10 donation on YouTube. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for the support.
Thank you, Corinne. Do you have a reaction to Moderna potentially increasing the price of its COVID vaccine by 400%?
I don't have a response to that. I would have to check in with the team. This is the first I'm hearing about this.
Separately, do you have a reaction to Governor DeSantis a couple days ago claiming to activate the National Guard in
Happy Freedom, K-Guardian.
The Cuba migration surge?
So we have known for some time now, right? We've seen
That guy has the laziest body language.
that is how he perceives to fix this issue from Florida, right? And he takes, we're talking about people who are coming from countries who are dealing with political strife, who are dealing with issues where they're trying to find asylum, and he treats them like pawns. And so we have called that out over and over again, and we will continue to do that. And he is not dealing with the problem; he's actually creating a problem. And so that's what I have to say to that. We've talked about Governor DeSantis and the mockery that he's making of a process that the president is trying to fix. He's trying to deal with this issue. He has made, when you think about immigration reform, a priority by putting forward a piece of legislation on the first day of his administration. And what he's going to continue to call on is for Congress, Republicans, to actually take action and really deal with this.
They're trying so hard to control us. Our whole houses will be running off of electricity. They'll be able to turn our house off when we don't comply. Our cars, our jobs will be digital. Everyone that we speak to, customer service or otherwise, will be AI that's controlled by community guidelines. We're going into digital communism.
Traveled where?
To that office. Yes, the Biden-Pence. Yes.
Do you mean since he's been vice president? No. Oh, since he left as vice president?
Yes.
I do not know of such a log.
Nothing.
Look, I'm not sure. You're just trying to see how many times he's gone to the Penn Biden Center office. I don't have anything to share about how he's. I mean, at least for the last 2 years, right? You guys have been very aware of where he goes, right? Because he has a protective pool that travels with him at all times. So I can only speak to the last 2 years. When he was a citizen, right? After becoming vice president, I cannot speak to his movements there, where he's been, or how many times he was there. As you know, he worked at University of Pennsylvania, so clearly he was there often. But as president, you guys are very much aware of his movements and where he goes and the trips that he takes, because he is indeed president of the United States. So I can't speak to after that or before that.
You spoke of the legal aspect of it. There is also a political aspect to this as well. There are some Republicans who are grabbing onto this cloud of documents that have been reported. What do you believe will happen? How will the work for the American public go forth with Republicans already talking about investigations? Already, Marjorie Taylor has been screaming impeachment for the longest. And now with this, she's saying impeachment. How does the work of the American public move forward as now documents are reported that were in an office connected to Joe Biden?
Again, I'm going to sound like a broken record, but the more prudent thing to do is to make sure that my colleagues are dealing with this, my colleagues in the White House Counsel Office, and I want to respect the process. This is an ongoing process, as you all know, that is being reviewed by the Department of Justice, and I'm just not going to speak beyond that. I know you're talking about the politics,
legal, but I'm talking about the politics.
I understand. I'm just not going. There is an ongoing process that is being reviewed by the Department of Justice. I'm just not going to speak beyond that.
And lastly, the Atlanta trip. Can you talk about what this moment, with this year being the 60th anniversary of the March on Washington, what does this King holiday mean to this president?
This holiday, as every holiday, when we talk about the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King, when we remember him on his birthday, has always been a critical moment for this president. You heard him talk about the reasons why he decided to run. A lot of it had to do with civil rights. And he has an administration that makes sure that no one is forgotten, that that he has an administration that represents the country, one of the most diverse administration in modern history, and that also shows a commitment to how he believes to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s
Hillbilly at heart. I'm actually going to turn it on after this, I think. I got to record some clips for the JeffMAC gaming channel.
Ebenezer Church in a couple of days, and he wanted to make sure that he recognized that day by going there and talking about the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King, what he meant, not just to the black community, but to every community just across the country, to Americans.
Why even bring that up? Martin Luther King Day is in 5 days. Why not talk about it then?
To stay true to the spirit of...
Look at us with over 300 on YouTube. Make sure you guys are racking those likes up. More likes, more hooligans.
Of these documents prior to the election when they were found.
Again, the president spoke to this personally yesterday. You heard him at the press conference. He laid out what he knew, and he talked about how important and how he sees this as a serious matter when it comes to classified documents and information. He talked about about how he was surprised to learn about the records that had been found there, and he laid out his process and his thoughts. I'm just not going to go beyond that. Again, we released information that was very transparent, meaning the information that you all got received from the White House Counsel's Office. And I know you all are going to have a lot of questions. I get that and I understand that, but I'm not going to go beyond the process that's currently happening at the DOJ.
Does it undercut the president's promise of transparency that these documents were not revealed for several months after the White House...
Yep.
Look, you know, so when...
I'm a way better press secretary than Corinne. Let her know. Tag her on Twitter.
Turn them over to the archives. They did the right thing.
Just tag her and just say, do better.
All I can say is what the president said yesterday, I would refer to his comments. But they did the right thing by, once they learned of them, they turned it over. They turned it over to the archives.
About it, Corinne.
Again,
that's the question.
I understand the question, but there is an ongoing process. It's being reviewed.
I understand the question, but I just don't want to answer it, so I have to just say a bunch of nonsense and bury it.
Otherwise, I would refer you to the White House Counsel's Office.
I do want to be very clear about something you said, make sure I understand you.
Call on Peter.
Colleagues who asked you, you have not spoken to the president about this? Weren't you traveling with him when he made this public statement?
The way I heard the question is, have you talked to the president about the documents? And he doesn't know what's in the documents. That's the way I heard the question, so that's the way I was answering the question.
No, it's okay. Where the air molecules had pinged off of each other from your lips to my ears, I heard it differently than how you said it. It must have been a scientific transformation that happened in this 6 feet space.
When he was briefed.
Stupid. Anything except for answers.
President about that. What I can tell you is I know you all have a lot of questions. There is an ongoing process here, and so I'm just going to let the process move forward.
I want to let you respond to former Vice President Mike Pence, who talked about what he and some other Republicans are calling a double standard.
Thank you so much, Sam, for gifting 10 memberships over on YouTube. I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
In the wake of This incident in the Justice Department, I think, is exactly what undermines public confidence in our justice system.
Again, as soon as his lawyers realized these documents were there, they did the right thing and they turned over the documents to their archivist. That's what they did as soon as they realized the documents were there. And his team is cooperating fully with the review. Again, there's a review happening by the DOJ, and we're just going to let the process move forward.
Great.
I'm going to go around. I'll come back.
You hear Peter? He's like, yo, call on me.
The position you're holding right now, there are no assurances you can provide at this point that there are no other classified documents out there in any other office and or home.
Again, this is an ongoing process, so I'm going to let the process continue. It is being reviewed by the Department of Justice, and I'm just going to leave it there.
If you hooligans are not already a part of the membership program on YouTube, if you click on Sam's name at the top there, you can redeem a membership that he gifted. And make sure you guys thank him. That stuff's not free.
There's the White House counsel. My colleagues are here to answer questions on this particular issue, and I am just going to let them speak to this. They put out on Monday a very informative, transparent statement about this particular issue. So I'm going to let them speak to this any further. But as for me, as for here, I'm just not going to go beyond what's happening currently.
And just one last one. The President alluded to last night, you kind of have as well, the idea of once this is kind of all over or wrapped up, there will be more information, there will be more details. Do you have a plan for that? How should we expect that additional information to come? In terms of, will you detail everything you know once this is done? How does that all work?
So as the President told all of you yesterday, we are committed to doing the right thing here, and we'll provide further details at appropriate time, and that's all I can share at this time.
Afghanistan, please.
Real committed to doing the right thing.
Association says today's FAA catastrophic system failure is a clear sign that America's transportation network desperately needs significant upgrades. So what specific steps are underway to ensure that outages like this won't happen again?
So the NOTAM system is continuously being updated. That is something that is happening on a regular basis. As Secretary Buttigieg said today, DOT is asking the FAA how we improve the system to ensure it is a state of the art. Every five years there is a review of the FAA authorization, and that is coming up this year. So we welcome the attention from Congress to ensure the FAA has what it needs to address these issues. The FAA is working aggressively to get to the bottom of the root causes of what happened with the system outage today, and making sure that it doesn't happen again. Clearly, the safety of Americans who are flying every day is a #1 priority, and what they're going to do is to make sure that this doesn't happen again.
How concerning is it for the White House that there's no backup, no contingency to this system when it does fail?
Look, what you saw happen today was out of abundance of caution, the action that was taken, because, again, the safety of Americans is a priority. They're going to get to the bottom of this. There's going to be an after-action document that's going to be put together.
She doesn't have any information about the documents because the public safety is top priority. Whatever that means.
Infrastructure law, for example, to try to make some of those upgrades that you're talking about.
Well, we'll see what the after-action report shows. Don't want to get ahead of that as far as any funding and what needs to happen next.
Thank you, Corinne. First, does President Biden have confidence in Transportation Secretary Buttigieg?
Yes.
Why?
Because Secretary Buttigieg is
Buttigieg.
Secretary and the work that he has been doing. You have seen the Secretary on TV. You have probably spoken to him yourself, and they are doing everything that they can to make sure that the experience that Americans have is a good one. That's why they've held the airlines accountable. You've seen the Secretary do that over and over again, and we understand. We understand what Americans have been going through these past couple of months.
Oh, do you?
Secretary has been very clear.
Said the person doing it.
Making sure that they are held accountable, has put in processes in place to make sure that occurs. And yes, the President has confidence in Secretary Buttigieg.
And then on these documents, how could anyone be that irresponsible? Isn't that what this President said?
Question mark.
Documents?
The President spoke to this personally. He spoke to this personally, and he He believes that classified documents and information should be taken seriously. He takes them seriously, and he was surprised to learn by any records have been. I disagree. Here's what happened. Once his.
Justice Department.
Well, let me explain to you the process. Here's what happened when his lawyers found out that the documents were there. They immediately turned them over to their archives.
But they were
But
there
they
in the first place. I
immediately
understand
turned them
that
over
they-
to the
you say
archives.
They did the right thing
I'm not
when they
gonna
figured
I'm
it
not
out.
gonna go into specifics, but what I am reiterating to you is what you heard from the president yourself, Peter, which is how he saw the process and how he respects and truly respects.
Now everything's about how they see things and how they hear things, not how they are. That's so dumb.
The right actions that the lawyers took. Again, this is under is under review by the Department of Justice, and we're going to let that process continue.
How can President Biden be trusted moving forward with America's secrets?
Because his lawyers, his team did the right thing.
But he had a closet with
His
classified
lawyers
information in
did
it
the
that
right.
they found. How did it get there?
Again,
Did the
he
lawyers
did.
do
He
the
was
right thing?
surprised that the records were there. He spoke to this
But they were
personally.
there.
He was surprised that
How'd they get there?
were there, and when his lawyers found out and his team found out that they were there, they turned it over to their archives, and now it's being reviewed by the Department of Justice.
And just one more. Why didn't President Biden want to see what's really going on at the border?
He did see exactly what's going on at the border.
He didn't talk to any migrants, and he didn't go anywhere that people actually cross illegally. Why not?
But he went to the migrant center, which was a critical place to be when you think about the partners who are our partners who are helping support the migrants on the ground there. There happened to be no migrants at the facility at the time that he visited.
Weird.
El Paso has been crushed. The shelters are full. There are overflow migrants sleeping in the streets, and then it's just a coincidence that suddenly the president shows up and.
Well, let me talk about what's going on in El Paso. El Paso did go down significantly prior to the president's visit by about 70%. And that's a good thing, Peter. That's a good thing that we've seen the numbers go down. And that is something that we should be saying, okay, that's a good job there. It has helped ease pressure.
No, it's not good job when he's the cause of the problem. I was just outlining that. They caused the problem, they fixed the problem, sort of, and then they want a parade and a pat on the back.
And so the president got to see. He went to the board.
That's just the way the blue team is.
It's been very clear that he was going to talk to the people on the ground who's working on the border, and that's what you saw. You saw him meet with the CBP. You saw him meet with partners on the ground, as I just stated, who deal with migrants and their families. And the president also is going to continue to call on Congress to take action. Look, the president has been doing.
Thank you so much, Snooks, for gifting 5 memberships here on YouTube. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for everything you do.
Prior president to secure the border and build a safe, orderly, and humane immigration system. And that's what the president has been able to do. We've got 23,000 agents working to secure the border, and we'll soon be hiring 300 more. That's what the president has done here. And so, again, he went down there, he saw for himself.
No, he didn't. We covered it leading all the way up to it. They cleaned it up and snuck him through a commercial area.
Follow up
No,
on.
go ahead, this lady in the front.
Was there any discussion of President Biden getting a physical while he was at Walter Reed this morning, or could you provide any update on when that might happen next?
Again, this is about his wife today. He wanted to be there to support her. I don't have anything else to share besides the fact that they've been married for 45 years, and he wanted to be there with Dr.
For 405 years. That's what it sounded like.
From Brazil, has there been any discussion in the administration about if there were to be an extradition request from Brazil for Bolsonaro for the events that happened this week?
So I don't have an update for you on this. I'm not aware of an official request for information or extradition from the Brazilian government. Though, of course, if we were to receive one, we treat it seriously and examine it carefully, as we generally do for such requests. Just not aware of one at this time.
Thank you. A follow-up on the gas stoves, and just a quick one on the president's op-ed today on social media. On the gas stoves question, Senate Democrats are calling for more regulations on gas stoves because they contribute to indoor air pollution. Is the president worried about the climate impact of a gas stove?
How about smoking cigarettes? Does that affect air pollution?
About safety or
Is big tobacco just worth too much money?
that is not something that we can speak to here at the White House, so I would refer you to the Consumer Product Safety Commission.
Pretty soon you ain't gonna be able to rip one in your own living room without breaking the law.
And the Consumer Product Safety Commission, which is independent, is not banning gas stoves.
Dog farts on the couch, FBI comes in through the window.
That's not something that
Stupid. Thank you so much, Diane, for that $10 donation on YouTube. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for the support.
Media. He talked about reforming Section 230, but the bottom line, does the president think that social media companies should be legally responsible for what goes on their platforms?
So look, holding big technology, big tech accountable has been a priority for this president since the day he took office.
Lies.
2021, his
Not according to Twitter.
explicitly called for enforcing antitrust laws to meet the challenges posed by new industries and technologies, including the rise of the dominant internet platforms and addressing the surveillance of users. It is also part of his unity agenda. You heard him say last year, talk about his unity agenda, and you may recall in that unity agenda, he talked about the 4 areas that have traditionally been bipartisan and where the president believes we can make bipartisan progress. And in his op-ed, he urges Democrats and Republicans in Congress to pass a bipartisan legislation. Look, the president, again, outlined the same policy positions in this op-ed today.
Hillbilly at heart, my dog isn't dead yet and I smoke like a chimney. Don't tell Blue Team that. They'll be passing laws and executive orders before you know it.
Personal data on our children, and also you may remember that one of the president's guests, the First Lady's guest at the State of the Union was Frances Haugen, the Facebook whistleblower. So this is an issue that the president's going to continue to focus on, and is incredibly important to him. And so as the new Congress starts, he's going to continue to reiterate a bipartisanship there.
To liability, does he think that social media companies need to have some skin in the game where they could be sued over what happens on their platforms?
When it comes to the reforming of Section 230, he continues to call for that, increasing competition, reducing the impact of tech companies over our lives extends back to the campaign, and he has reiterated them as president. So he's going to continue to do that. He's going to continue to call for a bipartisan legislation as we're seeing the new Congress, and that's what you're going to hear from the president. And also that's why he wanted to lay out his thoughts with the new Congress in the op-ed. Okay.
Thank you, Corinne. Can I get your reaction on the new House Select Committee on China? Does the administration plan to work with them? Do you believe they will be helpful in achieving your goals in strategic competition with Beijing? And are you concerned about the potential for anti-Asian hate?
So look, under President Biden, we are more prepared to outcompete China, protect our national security, and advance a free and open Indo-Pacific than ever before. Many of our efforts we have been pursuing are bipartisan, underscoring the alignment at home on the key issue. We look forward to the committee getting stood up, and we'll continue to work with Democrats and Republicans in Congress on this issue. It is a top priority as we talk about outcompeting China.
Just on the last part, are you concerned about the potential of the committee perpetuating any kind of anti-Asian hate?
Look, that is something that we will always call out against. That's something that you've heard from the president and you've heard from this administration, calling out any anti-Asian hate. That is not who we should be or who we are. And so, again, that is a commitment that he has to the Asian community.
One more Japan, please, Corinne. Ahead of the Prime Minister's visit, can you share the goals of this visit, particularly in terms of, in the context of countering China and holding Russia accountable on its invasion of Ukraine? If you can be specific about what this visit particularly means in the U.S.-Japan strategic relations.
So let me just more broadly, the two leaders are going to have an extensive...
A liter of cola?
Last year at the East over the last year at the East Asia Summit in Cambodia. So they're going to continue that conversation, continue that relationship, and the bilateral visit and Quad Summit in Tokyo as well. So they have had many extensive conversation. The Prime Minister will arrive at the White House after consulting closely with us and regional partners on the release of Japan's new national security strategy and commitment to boosting its defense depend on to 2% of GDP, including to invest in new defense capabilities. These unprecedented moves will strengthen deterrence in the region in order to advance peace and stability in the Indo-Pacific and globally. As you asked me about China, this meeting also comes as Japan continues to be a critical partner for the United States and Europe in holding Russia accountable for its brutal war against Ukraine. The meeting between the president and
Why'd her voice get all squeaky like that? She was like, a critical partner?
and for the U.S.-Japan alliance.
I think Lion does that.
Focus on investing alliances and partnership, including Japan, is bearing fruit, and you will hear more about this meeting when we'll get a readout on Friday. Go ahead, Kristen.
Yes, going back to transportation, TSA plans to roll out facial recognition technology at its airports nationwide, but critics have raised concerns about the racial inaccuracies, especially for Asians and African Americans, when it comes to this technology. What is the White House's response to this racial disparities, and what kind of oversight can be provided to ensure that...
You're worried you're not going to be identified correctly while facial recognition stares in your face?
Improves upon technology and process.
I hope I'm mishearing that.
Protect the traveling public and ensure that screening is conducted in a manner that respects the dignity of each individual. That is clearly a...
The dignity of having your privacy invaded?
To assess the performance of face recognition technology and reduce demographic differentials, particularly as it relates to race and gender.
Is smoking crack like the new norm, or are these people just like amp themselves up with it? Because I didn't even know that was a thing we were worrying about. I made my skin colors too light. That's why I wasn't worried about it. I don't know. Good Lord, that's so stupid.
Penn Vibes Center in the first place? Were they looking for something specific? Was there something specific they were doing going through?
I have to censor myself. It doesn't make any sense.
If it was just routine moving stuff to send a personal attorney to do that
I would
as well.
refer you to the White House counsel's very extensive kind of information on Monday that they provided. So I refer you to that.
Great, thanks so much. On the ground stop this morning, it's just such an unusual procedure. I'm wondering if you can go through in any more detail when the president was told that this might happen, and was he involved in that decision or that conversation before it was issued, or did he learn afterwards? If you just could provide.
That last person just fried my brain. I can't get past it.
That's something that the FAA, a decision that they made, an order that they made. So
when you put me on your list, Mr. Federal Agent, make sure you don't get my nationality wrong, because I want to keep my dignity intact. Stupid, so stupid. We need to make punching people in the face great again. Just that punch in the face, wake you right up, realize how stupid you've been acting.
Shortly after, and so that has been the process on how the president was briefed.
The president knew before this ground stop, or if he was told immediately afterward?
He was told before.
And then I sort of looking back to the summit, that there were not major announcements on the border or fentanyl, and I'm wondering, what we should take that to mean in terms of the success of the summit.
So as it relates to migration, irregular migration, obviously that was a key topic of discussion, as all of you know. President Biden discussed ways our countries can continue to work together and to address irregular migration. So that conversation certainly happened extensively. He discussed the recent announcement.
Better go to your local Halloween store and get fake noses and stuff while you still can buy that.
Nicaraguans and Venezuelans, and the leaders were able to agree on a number of initiatives, including a virtual platform through the Los Angeles Declaration website, which will provide migrants one unified location in which to access legal pathways they may be eligible for, as well as establishing physical centers where migrants can come in person, access those legal pathways as well. And so that, again, it was an extensive conversation on irregular migration. When it comes to of fentanyl. We've been focused on taking big actions to fight drug traffickers and go after financiers of cartels attempting to bring fentanyl into our country. And so during his meeting with President Obrador, the president discussed increased cooperation to prosecute drug traffickers and dismantle criminal networks, disrupt the supply of illicit precursors, chemicals used to make fentanyl as well, shut down drug laboratories, and prevent trafficking of drug, arms, and people across our shared border. So there was a commitment and coordination and on law enforcement training, the best practices so we can better go after criminal networks in the fentanyl trade. Again, this was a meeting, a summit that happened to our closest neighbors on how we can move forward in dealing with some of the issues that are really important to the three leaders.
Was it as ambitious as you had hoped? I mean, was the White House a little, let down by the scope of the agreements? And can you sort of characterize, how you're feeling at this moment about?
Tell us how you're feeling, White House. Let us know. Are you feeling let down? Are you sad? You need a little hug?
Critical to North America. That's what you saw from the three leaders. You saw them yesterday.
Bunch of soft people.
Answer questions, speak to the different the different issues that matter to their country.
Drink like 5 cups of coffee while running this live.
Deepening our security cooperation to combat drug trafficking, as I just laid out, redoubling efforts to address climate change by taking efforts to reduce methane emissions and decarbonize public transportation, strengthening and expanding North American supply chains for semiconductors and critical minerals, and providing alternatives to irregular migration by increasing ways migrants can access legal pathways to North America. Again, we believe those were a robust set of initiatives, continuing their close friendships as we move forward to what's important and critical to North America.
And then on the border, we were wondering, there were not Republican members of Congress with the president. Were they invited to come with him? Can you sort of talk through that?
Yeah, so I was asked about this a couple of days ago. Look, we go through the normal process as we go into a state with whether it's Republican or Democrats in that state, and just don't have anything further. Our Office of Legislative Affairs certainly reach out to congressional members. Our Intergovernmental Affairs certainly reach out to state and local official. As you saw, the Governor Abbott met the president at the when he arrived at the airport, and so again, this is we have a regular process that we go forth with every trip, and there was nothing different here.
So Legislative Affairs did reach out to Republican members, and
the way we reach out to their federal offices, like we always do with every trip.
And then one quick question, just following up on April's really good point. She, in her question, brought up the notion that President Biden was really former Vice President Joe Biden during the period in which these documents were found. And can you tell us how many other offices there may have been? I realize that you can't say whether they're being searched or whether there is any sort of look for documents, but how big is the scope of additional offices where at that point former Vice President was doing work?
Look, this is an ongoing process, and I'm just going to be prudent here, and it would be more appropriate for my colleagues to answer, my colleagues at the White House counsel's office to address this. Again, I want to respect the process, and so again, I would refer you to them. Okay.
Thank you so much, Richard, for that donation on PayPal. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for the support.
Documents being found. Has he expressed any other emotion in response to these?
You heard directly from the president yesterday about this particular issue. He answered it in a personal way. Again, I would refer you to his response and how he saw the issue. I just don't have anything else to share beyond what the president shared with you and the American people yesterday. We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you.
Thanks, Green.
Thanks, Green.
Run, run, run. Fast as you can.
Hello there, young child.
That stuff cracks me up. All right, hooligans. Well, that was that. We knew that was going to be entertaining. I kind of thought she was going to rage quit, but it is what it is. Peter went after it. Actually, a couple of reporters did. She was trying to get that one to back down. She was like, please don't become another Peter. I can't take two. Yeah, I said what I said. All right, hooligans. Let's get ready for that Pledge of Allegiance. It's time to pledge that allegiance. My favorite part of the day. I'm not going to run through the Linktree stuff again. I know it's lengthy. Just make sure after this is over, you guys go to jeffmaclive.com. You check out all the stuff on the homepage. Join Gilded. Get yourself a cool t-shirt like I have on right now. I think I'm going to release the band Soft Targets t-shirt. I was waiting for the website to be totally available to release some of these exclusive shirts, but I might just go ahead and throw that out there because I think people need to remember, since Illinois went and made that step, we need to remind people. We need to ban soft targets. Everybody needs to be pro 2A. It's our rights. We need to get away from that soft target nonsense. And now Illinois, the whole state just became a soft target. Like, we need to get rid of that. So we're going to be making t-shirts and stuff because we need to raise awareness. But let's get ready for that pledge, hooligans. All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, hooligans. Well, that's that. I don't have anything else today. We did it all. Coffee with Hooligans. We caught Kareen live. We did the pledge. You hooligans are amazing. I appreciate all of you guys. There's supposed to be something going on. I think Congress is getting together a little after 4, which is roughly 30 minutes or so. I don't think we're going to cover it, though. I might keep an eye on it just in case it gets a little spicy, but I assume it's mostly going to be boring and people crying and lying. So I don't think we're necessarily going to cover it, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Goofy YouTube stuff. Don't you worry. Either way, this was all we had today. So I appreciate you guys. We will be live again tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern time for another Coffee with Hooligans. Tell your friends. We're going to do it every day except for Sunday, and we're going to keep it rolling. This is how we're going to make it. I appreciate all of you beautiful hooligans. You guys are amazing. Big shout out to everyone that made donations. Join the membership program or purchase any merch. I appreciate all of you, and I would not be able to do this without you. So thank you guys so much for all your support. I'll see you on the next live. Until then, stand tall, shine bright, and that's a wrap.